Common captain John Newton and the manager of the Meath team, victorious in yesterday's Leinster final, Seán Boylan. Gentlemen, you're both welcome. And Seán, congratulations to you, obviously, first of all. It must be something of a relief and almost strange to have this Leinster Championship over.
It is, but it's a nice relief, Michael. It's nice to win it. It's been a very hard one, but it's great to be there.
Do you think, Seán, in some small little way, a little bit of an anticlimax almost in the end?
Well, I suppose there's been such tension in the early matches that it seemed to take from it yesterday. The atmosphere didn't seem like the atmosphere that you normally would get. And I think it was that, there was an air of, a little bit of fear that was there that Laois might just put even up a stiffer opposition than they did. And particularly we haven't beaten them 20 points in last year's championship. But they put up a very stiff opposition, and the game wasn't a great game. We didn't play great football. We didn't seem to be let to play great football. It's maybe an anticlimax, yes, but it when it's all over, you breathe a huge sigh of relief and absolutely delighted to be Leinster champions again.
Well, now when the celebrations have died down, and they probably already have from that one, Seán, the one factor from your point of view is the loss of Robbie O'Malley, who will not make it the next day.
Yeah, it's a huge blow, Michael. The experience of Robbie, the consistency, he's been so marvellously consistent over the years and so good on the big occasions. It's a huge blow for Robbie himself personally. It's a huge blow for the team, and it's a bad blow. He broke a bone in his leg, and we just hope that he recovers soon. But just know as though we'll have him for the rest of the championship.
Well, John Newton, I know that some of the Roscommon players took time out from an intensive training workout over the weekend to come up for yesterday's match. And I suppose the obvious question: what do you think of Meath?
Yes, Michael, a lot of the panel came up and attended yesterday's Leinster final, and although Meath didn't look that impressive on the day, the conditions were poor, and Laois showed themselves to be a very capable team, and I think a bit of big match experience to hold against them, in the final analysis.
You're obviously looking forward to next Sunday's game. There's nothing surely at this stage that you don't know about Meath.
Well, we've been watching Meath. We come up in block to one of the matches against Dublin as well. I think it was the second replay, and Meath were a lot more impressive on that occasion than they were yesterday. So we know what Meath are capable of, and we know they're capable of a lot better than they played yesterday.
Now, one thing about Sunday's game is there's this notion that the Roscommon players have in their minds that Croke Park is a bogey place for them.
Well, you hear a lot of people talking about that, but I don't think the players are particularly apprehensive about coming to Croke Park. We lost 2 league semi-finals in the last 2 years in Croke Park, and traditionally Roscommon we don't place an awful lot of emphasis on the league. Cork beat us last year in the All-Ireland semi-final. I think we were a little unlucky, we were right in the game up to the last 5 minutes. So I think the players have to think positive, and I think we'll come up in a positive frame of mind next Sunday.
Now, the one small uncertainty about next Sunday, John, is will you have a Meath team to play against, and maybe Seán Boylan can throw some light on that? I know that there's going to be an application to have this game postponed, Seán. What are your thoughts on that?
The thoughts are, if we have to play it, we have to play it, but we would like another week. I don't think it's too much to ask, Michael. And I think anybody who's gone through championship matches and championship fair understand what physically it takes out of people and so on, and mentally as well. And when you've played 8 games as hard as the ones we played, 2 weeks it isn't too much to ask. But if we have to play it, we have to play it.
In other words, if they ask you to be there, you're going to be there.
Well, certainly we're not going to give it away, but you'd like to be able to give your best. And as John quite rightly said, we were more impressive early on. And if it was a racehorse, you'd rest them at times. They're human beings, they're amateurs, and so on. And there's times they need a break. And if it's not mentally, physically, and sometimes if not physically, mentally, they need a break. And but you've got to gear yourself for whatever it is, the powers that be or the powers that be.
Well, Seán, to turn the table around from what I was asking John a moment ago, what he thought of Meath, what do you think of Roscommon you've seen this year?
Well, I think quite rightly, as John said last year in the All-Ireland semi-final against Cork, for a long time they were quite into it, and there was a great goal chance on, and they missed a lot of frees and so on. And but for that, it could have been a different story. And we expect them to go very well last year because we played them in a little place called Kiltoom, yes. And they beat us 16 points. And physically and football-wise and everywhere they beat us. And they beat us in the current league as well. We think an awful lot of them, very big, powerful, strong team. A lot of people were talking about Mayo, the way Mayo were going, the way they were going to come through. Roscommon through a fantastic equalising free. Derek got a replay, and then of course they clinched it the last day. We haven't had much time to. In fact, we didn't even think about them until last night and today. Mm-hmm. And even with that, all you know is that it's going to be no easy match.
Well, I know that all of the West would celebrate if Roscommon made it to the final, but nobody would deny me their place in the final after this extraordinary year. Gentlemen, thank you both very much indeed for coming in to talk to us tonight.
Thanks, man.
Well, now, before we go for this week, let me remind you that next Sunday, in association with Telecom Air and RTE, we'll bring you live coverage of that other All-Ireland football semi-final between the Leinster and Connacht champions Meath and Roscommon. Coverage on Network 2 begins at 2 o'clock, and we will also feature live the All-Ireland minor semi-final between Mayo and Kildare. And as ever, highlights, analysis, interviews and Telecom Éireann's Man of the Match here on the Sunday game later next Sunday evening. And as far as this Sunday evening is concerned, well, let me remind you that the conclusion of the US PGA Championship from Crooked Stick, Indiana, can be seen on this channel immediately after this programme, so stay right where you are. Well, that's about it then from the Sunday game for tonight, on a glorious day for Ulster football, which saw Down overcome Munster champions Kerry.